Kelly, and it's time for your Wednesday Wellness Wake Up with Dr. Sharon Ufberg, brought to you by the Napa County Chiropractic Association. Good morning, Dr. Sharon.
Good morning, Kelly. It's a great day to be alive in Napa Valley. That moon was shining this morning.
I know you said as soon as you walked in that you loved the moon.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And I couldn't see it this morning.
Well, maybe it'll still be up.
Yeah, right.
In a little while when you take a break. I have a wonderful new friend in the studio this morning, Dr. Moses Goldberg. Good morning, Dr. Moses.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Moses Goldberg. He's a naturopathic doctor, and he practices in Napa at Phoenix Well Care and also in Santa Rosa at the Integrative Medical Clinic. And Dr. Goldberg is a primary care natural medicine doc for the whole family. He specializes in pediatrics and hormonal imbalances, gastrointestinal, and integrative cancer care. And one of the things that he told me about himself, and then I'm going to let him talk, is that Dr. Goldberg takes the time to listen to his patients' health concerns, to discover what the causes are of their health conditions and not just treat the symptoms. So good morning. I would love to have you tell us a little bit more about that and maybe take a second to explain what's a naturopath versus a regular MD.
Right, yeah.
Sure. Well, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Naturopathic doctors, we're primary care doctors. We're trained in all the Western diagnosis of disease, so we use standard lab tests and the Western approach to find out what's going on with a person. But instead of just focusing on pharmaceuticals and surgery as the way to heal and to treat people, we have a bigger toolbox, so the natural toolbox, where we use diet, nutrition, and homeopathic, herbal medicine, vitamins, intravenous nutrients. So it's very broad, but it's all the natural therapies that we can use to help heal people for their conditions. And with that naturopathic medicine, we also bring in our philosophy of medicine, and that you mentioned that the body has the ability to heal itself. So in the therapies that we promote, we try to help basic physiology to help the immune system to heal itself. And we focus on what is the cause of the problem and not just treating the symptom. And that's really, I think, the big difference between conventional, what we say, allopathic medicine and holistic medicine. So, the sum is greater than the whole of the parts. Like, we're trying to figure out what is going on and not just putting a Band-Aid on a symptom.
So if someone came to your office, do you actually, in some conditions, prescribe medication or not?
Most of the time I do not, because there's always a natural remedy that works just as effectively. So from depression, we're using amino acid therapies and nutrients and diet, which is very important. So there's always, sometimes there are those cases when we use a pharmaceutical medication, but for the most part, naturopathic medicine is going back to
so you're really okay. So really explain to me the education differences. I mean, so you still become a doctor that we're used to when you say a doctor. You become
Correct.
a doctor. You do all the same training,
Exactly.
internship, and so on and so forth, and then you take more training on top of that.
Well, we do it's a 4-year post-grad medical school that people can go to, but yeah, it is. So
you're a doctor.
We're a doctor.
Like a medical doctor.
We're primary care natural doctors. And
okay.
so it's really, when you go to your regular doctor to see, we can treat those patients for childhood ailments, for ulcers, depressions, chronic fatigue. There's a lot of things out there that we just put our holistic visors on to see the whole picture, to sit with the person, to listen to them, not your regular 18-minute visit. We usually take our time to find out what's going on, full history, full, physical exams. We do all that, and then find out these are ABC, the roadmap to your health.
That's great.
So if you were thinking about like the people you saw this past week or two, what would you say were the most common types of conditions that came in? If someone's listening, like what would you, if you're thinking, should I go to a naturopath or should I go to what are most people coming to see you for?
Again, it's a primary care practice, so I see a little bit of everything from, again, the new baby wellness from a 4-month-old that I did last month to, unfortunately, people who have stage 4 cancer. So it's really broad.
Any reason you would go to a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
With just more tools in the toolbox, more.
Exactly. But I think, this other person, a patient who came in with psoriasis, and began, skin ailments all over their body. We did a functional test that can look at their food allergies and made that connection that, the skin is not always just, it's what you kind of put into your body can actually have a negative effect on your immune system and then create that. We found that he was allergic to, on this test, from having an antibody production against wheat products and gluten and some of the dairy products out there and a variety of other things. He went on for about 6 to 8 weeks of a pretty hardcore avoiding those foods, but he saw the difference. And that was the thing. His skin totally, radically changed over the 2-month period of time.
Wow.
So there's things like that to really make people aware of what they're eating in their body. They might be reacting to it and having that sensitivity or that allergic reaction to, and that it does create psoriasis and eczema and other skin issues.
Or like maybe a traditional doctor would have said, here's a cream, here's a medication, go on your way.
Exactly. Here's a steroid cream, and that's it. And there's a little bit more to find out what's going on. That's what we do. That's what we're investigating, health investigators, as naturopathic doctors, what's going on with a person's health.
So, Doc Moses, I just curious, did you have any personal story that got you to got you into naturopathy? I mean, was your father a naturopath? Like my dad was a chiropractor. I became, is there some like personal journey that got you to where you your choices?
Well, the journey, I have my little website, but basically I was working in San Francisco for a while and didn't really feel like that industry I was working in, the computer industry, was working for me. So I took a year off. I traveled to Asia, and at that point I really got into herbal medicine. I was in India and Ayurvedic medicine, and I really wanted to bring that back home. And so from there, went to a school in Sonoma County, the California School of Herbal Studies, and that was in '93. And since then, I've just been studying more about plant medicine and how that can really affect people in a positive way.
But you did your naturopathy degree in Portland, you said.
Yeah, there's the National College of Naturopathic Medicine in Portland, and
which is separate from a medical school. They're separate.
We have
schools.
our own medical schools and fully accredited.
And you're licensed in California?
I'm licensed in California. There's 15 states in the United States that are licensed. It's for a person to see a naturopathic doctor for their primary care health.
Wow.
It's really great.
And does your insurance, is any insurance covered?
There are some insurance plans that do cover it. Obviously, the HMOs do not, but there are some, and that's always something we can work with as well.
No, that's great.
Because I know it's important for people to have some medical coverage for their services.
Right.
Do you have any physicians in Napa that you also work with, or if someone has a condition where they're already on medication, or they're, how does that work?
Exactly. So at Phoenix Well Care, I work with Dr. Eleanor Hino and some other allied practitioners, and we really work for that. My goal has always been to work at an integrative clinic. So when we have medical doctors, naturopathic doctors, to kind of put all that together. So people who are on some pharmaceuticals, if they need to be on them, that's fine. And then if they need to be off of them or they want to get off of them, we have a whole plan to help them move from that to maybe a natural choice.
So if someone came into Phoenix Well Care, would they get to see you and another physician simultaneously? Does the center have the case, or is each individual doctor?
Yeah, that's a good question. We see each patient individually, but for these kind of tough cases, then we do integrate. We talk, we share the charts, we go over some of these cases. So we're always trying to do that. And in my clinic in Santa Rosa, we have weekly, we call them patient care conferences. So we're constantly working together, integrating all our practitioners together. So it's like a one-stop shop, so you can get medical doctors, naturopathic, acupuncture, chiropractic, body work, psychotherapy, all together to really bring that for the patient. Because, there's many avenues of healing, and we need to enhance all those for what the patient's presenting with.
Yeah, I had the good fortune of working at a Center for Health and Healing in New York City, so I really understand and relate to what Doc Moses is talking about, where you really have an ability to have a case conference and sit, and for a patient, it's such a benefit to have many, many sets of eyes looking and seeing, how can I best serve this particular patient, this particular condition? It sounds really terrific. I am so delighted you're here with us today.
Thank you.
I want to let people know that if they do want to get in touch with Dr. Moses Goldberg. His website, and maybe we'll hear a little bit more about that journey on your website. Sounds interesting. I feel like we didn't hear the whole story about that journey to Asia. It's www.docmoses.com. That's DOCMOSES.com. And a phone number is 707-255-4172. Naturopathy, a very interesting subject.
Interesting.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Dr. Sharon, for this Wednesday Wellness Wake Up brought to you by the Napa County Chiropractic Association.